Hi everyone. I'm going to try my hand at a welcome to the class video. I want to get just a few things out and I'll add more over the next few days, but some of you started responding to the Google forum questions that I had sent out, and I wanted to put some of those concerns at ease and walk you through a few things and introduce you basically to how our class is going to run. So a few first things. I create everything starting in Google Docs. That is how I work. Google Documents are readable by most screen readers, which makes them accessible to people. This is the folder where I will store all of our stuff. The folder itself is not shared with you, but all of the pieces within it are. So for instance, the syllabus, which I already had pulled up, I have shared with all of you, and I have given you comment abilities to this. As you can see over here, Nicholas has already commented and I replied. These are really important comments that matter to all of you, because what Nicholas discovered is that the handbook that I was told would be about $15 is actually $79. As soon as Nicholas shared that information with me, I asked the chair of my program about it, and she said that when they had given us the $15 estimate, they meant that that was broken up over 4 years because you're expected to use the handbook every year in your writing classes. I am incredibly frustrated by that. So we will not be using the handbook. If you want to purchase it, please feel free. It is an excellent handbook in terms of the material that's in there, but that information is also available a lot of other places. So we will make use of that, because I'm not going into the semester having lied to you significantly about the cost of a product that ultimately we can make work in other ways. So that's what we're going to do there. This is also just a really good example of how the comment feature works. You have a question or something you need to let me know, I immediately get an email that somebody has commented on this document, so I know it's there and can go reply to it really as soon as I possibly can, right? So Nicholas emailed me, I was in a meeting, I happen to have my computer with me, done, response happens. That's really convenient for me. It also means that when you have a question, there's a really good chance other people in the class have the same question. And so when you put it here, I can respond and everybody can see that response, as opposed to 15 people sending me the same email and me having to respond 15 times. So it's a huge time saver. And it saves you from having to send emails because you can just read it here. So that's really helpful, and I encourage you to always use that functionality if you have a question or concern about the syllabus or schedule that you think might also apply to other people. A lot of the syllabus I am expecting you to read on your own and to comment on and to ask questions on. You'll see that that is written into our schedule. So I am not going to read over all of this stuff, but just know that everything I wrote here, I mean. I spend a lot of time every semester sort of reworking syllabi and fixing them to try to say even more precisely than before what we're going to do and what my expectations are. If something is vague or you're confused, always please ask. People learn in different ways, and sometimes the way I think or the way I word something may not make sense to you, and that is not about you, that is about me. So always ask if you have a question. I do want to talk a little bit about the course structure. I'm modeling this course like a really traditional writer's workshop, which is different than the 2001 classes typically taught at Appalachian. But I think that you all benefit a lot from researching your own fields of interest, discovering what kinds of writing matters there, and figuring out what that looks like and practicing it. You also learn a lot from reading each other's writing and commenting on that. You come to really understand that we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. No writing exists in a vacuum except for maybe, that really poorly thought out tweet that somebody sent at midnight that they probably shouldn't have, right? In general, when we write for other people, and we write with other people, and we have other people read that writing and help us make it better before we send it out into the world to be judged. And that is what this class is really about. So that sort of speaks to this structure. The other thing I want to mention is the synchronous versus asynchronous. that I talk about here. One of the things that people were concerned about was that they would have to meet outside of class time. That will not be the case. If you want to come see me during my office hours, you are absolutely welcome to. If you want to make an online meeting and schedule that with me, you are absolutely welcome to do that. When I say we will be sometimes meeting synchronously, meaning virtually face-to-face, that will happen during our already scheduled class time, either on a Tuesday or a Thursday from 11 to 12:15. The university provides us with something called Zoom, which is an online web-driven meeting space. And I've used it for other purposes in the past. This will be the first time using it for a class, but it's really simple to use. We're going to practice with it this Thursday. So that is how we will meet when we meet synchronously, except for the one library day, which based on people's voting, we will actually meet face-to-face in the library. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. If you scroll down through here, I'm just going to put a line through this in a minute because we're not going to buy that. Please read through the things that you need, ask questions, my opinions about things, assignment types and values. We'll get more into those later on in the week, but the basics are there. And then here's the schedule. I built this schedule from my face-to-face class and turned it into something for online. So I'm not sure that it's the most practical, but for right now, it's what we've got. And I'm happy to hear any suggestions for changing it as the semester goes on. So here's how this works. The schedule here is really basic. It will link to readings. It will give you basic ideas of what we're going to do on that day. Sometimes, if there's an A here, that means we're meeting asynchronously. If there's an S here, that means we're meeting synchronously. To get more specifics, you will always want to visit the weekly agenda. And the first two are linked to here because those are the only ones I've created at this point. So if you click on this weekly agenda, it will open up and you will see things you should do on Tuesday, right? And then things we're going to do on Thursday. We're actually going to meet synchronously and we're going to practice this Zoom thing. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. So that's sort of the schedule, right? Go to the schedule, click on the weekly agenda, read through what I'm asking you to do and complete those. Much like the syllabus, you can always comment and or edit the weekly agenda. If I'm asking you to edit it, it will be editable. Otherwise, it will be commentable. If you'd like to add a comment and you don't know how, it's over here, right? You can just click on this little comment button and wherever you put your cursor, you're going to be able to add a comment, right? And I will see it. So that's how that works. One last note about Google. If you don't know how to do something with Google, Google it. It is the greatest pleasure, really, of using Google products is that you can always find the answers simply by asking Google the question. So there's that. The last thing I want to introduce you to is As You Learn. So over here, I'm logged into As You Learn. Right now, under courses, I don't see my course because my course technically doesn't start until tomorrow. So if you want to see the course in As You Learn right now, you need to click on Future. And then choose, for me, I have to choose this section of our course. And this is what it looks like right now. I'll be adding more stuff to it over time. But this is as far as I've gotten for the moment. But this is where we're going to go, our online classroom meeting space. So when we have a synchronous class meeting, or if you want to meet with me online for a meeting, you can always just go right here, announcements, attendance, click here, right? And you'll click on that and you'll click start meeting. And you can always get into that space. Even if you're, working on workshopping stuff later on in the semester with a group and you guys want to meet that way, you can go in there and you can start a meeting and you can do it all on your own. So that is just our constant space. You can click on that and go there. If there were people there, I could show you what it looked like, but there aren't. Other than that, there's not a whole lot for me to show you here. The weekly agenda will always be linked to. Any assignments will be linked to. And those things will just build up over the course of the semester as I build them in, which is really, it's taken me time to sort of build those things in because traditionally I do everything in Google. And I'm sort of moving it into As You Learn because I've heard that that's a more successful space for online classes. So there's my intro. I wanted to keep it under 10 minutes and I'm at like 10 minutes and 5 seconds. So I'm really sorry. If you have any questions, please follow up with me as usual. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks. Bye.